everyone, this is Najmi from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Itihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So I wanted to talk about something really very important. Actually, me and someone really close to me were having a discussion on some things, and she and I were both were in a disagreement of some sort. And the issue was that she was saying that people who have come out from broken families, like divorcee parents or separated parents, are usually less likely to build healthy household or value relationships, or be there for their children or their spouse or their relationship with their partners, girlfriend or boyfriend. Of course, I disagree with her analysis. I'm no, of course, I'm no a psychiatrist like Dr. Jordan Peterson, although I did took an elective in my bachelor's along with international relations and politics. One of the subjects was psychology, and that was because the other subjects in combination with IR and political science were not of my interest, like criminology and sociology and home economics. So anyway, but this is not like psychoanalyzing anyone or stereotyping, a kind of peeking into people's life. It's not like that, but I just genuinely wanted to share this wonderful insight that I, as a woman and as an aspirant mother and an aspirant spouse of somebody, wanted to share. So I looked up a little further and in detail the background of the serpent. I'm not going to call him by his name because I had met a very wonderful person with the same name at MGC 2016, and that person was such an amazing and beautiful soul that I think it would be an insult to but I'm not judging the serpent or Mr. Tate, but there is just so much of negativity that he spreads, which I just don't like as a feminine, as a woman. So when I digged up, I realized that he too had experienced a divorced parents or separated parents, and not only that, he's a biracial, parents. He's a product of a biracial marriage. He was either born or lived in the United States and then moved with his mother, who was a British, to Britain, and was raised by her mother. So I realized that these kind of attitudes that he shows, like for example, he said that if I provide for my girlfriend financially and protect her like as a masculine person, protect her from all the dangers and stuff, and pay for her food and her livelihood, I expect that she should make breakfast for me. Now this millionaire, it's not like that he doesn't know what a gourmet chef is, or he cannot cook breakfast himself, but I think this goes back to his, and that's my opinion and I could be utterly wrong, but I think this goes back to probably his childhood, where when his mom was raising him and his siblings, probably working 2 or 3 jobs, and one fine morning he was really in a good mood and he wanted his mother to cook him his favorite breakfast, but she was running late and she couldn't, and she just gave him a pack of chips or bought him a sandwich or something, and didn't made him that breakfast and didn't sit with him to have that breakfast. And he gets it out on other women that woman is, if I'm providing everything for you, you need need to better do things for me. So I personally think, as women, I think at times, especially women who are raising their children as single mothers, don't give much attention to the children, because we're just so wrapped up in making sure the finances and the bills are paid, the food is on the table, and there is this functioning and running household. But children don't care about financial things, or your financial things that you can provide them. At least the era that I think Mr. Tate or I'm 30 plus, I think probably older than him, 10, 20 years. Yeah, whatever. So, that generation, the millennial generation, is not very materialistic. Now, children are very into tablets or iPhones or gadgets and stuff. But back in the olden days, we actually wanted our parents to, love us and care for us and give us their time. That is the most valuable thing for us. And I think even now, if we talk about a healthy child, they would prefer to spend time with both their parents as to watch a Netflix, or no, okay, they don't want that. Whatever they watch on internet, they would prefer spending time with their parents, or going for a vacation or whatever. A healthy child, of course. People who have psychological issues, or who have seen their parents fighting with each other, using abusive language, or being abusive and aggressive, would definitely want to get away from their parents as far as they can. So I just felt like that maybe it's the childhood lack of attention or love that a man feels that he didn't get from his mother. So therefore, when they have girlfriend or their wife, they want that their wife should not only provide, their wife or their girlfriend should not, or their partner should not only provide them that intimate, sexual, sensual love, but also provide them that motherly loving and caring, which their mother actually didn't happen to provide because of the circumstances. Not that necessarily a mother didn't wanted to love or raise their children with utmost sensitivity and emotional attachment. But then again, we see that it is very unfair to your partner, to your spouse, to your girlfriend, to expect from them something that we lack. And it is part of our, growing up and stuff. It is just unfair. I mean, for that girlfriend, she'll say, what are you talking about? Why don't you cook your own? I'm your girlfriend, or I'm your wife, and I'm not your mother who can, you cook your breakfast. In fact, I in fact had the privilege of someone cooking breakfast for me, and I woke up and this nice gentleman, I actually went to Poland, and there was this guy that I stayed in his place. Okay, it was a very kosher stay. I actually stayed in his brother. His brother was away. His brother was away. I stayed in his brother's room. And yeah, it was a very kosher, very good, amazing, fine gentleman. Polish, very, very Catholic. In fact, his parents actually suggested he and I should get married. I said, you gotta be kidding. No way. So no, it was all, fun, joking way. It was not, but it was a very kosher way. But this fine gentleman, he actually cooked breakfast for me. Wonderful breakfast. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't think it was kosher, but no, there was no pork. It was just, I think, scrambled eggs and toast, along with some more. Very nice, wonderful guy. And then we went out on, not on a date, actually we went out to eat lunch together. So it was fantastic. So, and I mean, the thing is, it's not about that. I think it's when he says, Mr. Tate, when he says such things, I think it probably goes back to his childhood where probably his mother, or that motherly emotional attachment, love that he didn't get from his mother, I think he kind of thinks that women should be providing that to their spouses or their partners, and then be those kind of less independent or overly housewife types who would take care of their children, because he's kind of in that mentality, a man has to provide and a woman should just take care of the children and the husband. And this gives me this whole understanding from all this negative comments and this misogynist idea, or this sexist kind of mentality. I strongly feel that whatever you get, whatever negative that you get in life, I think that also tells you a lot of positivity. Positivity in terms of what not to do in life. So what I learned from this whole idea is that as women, I think we need to realize that this is about time. This is 21st century, that we need to realize and we need to work towards work environments and corporate sector where our motherhood and our this bond with our children is appreciated and nurtured. We are able to take our children to our work, so that we are not only being independent and financially stable on our own if all of a sudden our male partners just abandoned us and the family. So we're not we're not losing our mind and start working odd jobs and take 2-3 jobs to run a household and build a household on that single parenting model. So we need to demand from the corporate sector and our work lives that we need that balance, that we can bring our children to work, our toddlers, and if we are pregnant at 9 months, we don't have to take a maternity leave. Yes, our productivity might decrease in terms of in comparison to we are in our first trimesters and then the last ones when we're about to deliver our babies. But I think we should be allowed to work and to have our careers and our financial independence not affected by our choice of becoming mothers. And then our toddlers should be allowed in our offices, because I should be evaluated on the work that I put in the company or whatever. And why should I miss being a mother or spending time with my children? And then again, when we talk about leaving our children with complete strangers, those babysitters who are just high school graduates, and they're just saving this money for how can you trust this random stranger who is already occupied in applying to different universities and all? How can I trust my toddler with that sort of irresponsible person who's already who knows, they would call up their girlfriends or their boyfriends and having sex in our home, or who knows, how can I be sure that if my baby is fed the right food, the kosher food and that sort of, and thinking all these thoughts, that if my child is safe, it's not falling off the stairs or bed, or it's not getting injured, or it's not getting sexually abused. That's a big scary thing. And I'm sitting in the office thinking half or even quarter of my brain is in with my toddler, and how is he or she is being treated by this babysitter, and then what sort of productivity or what sort of work I would put forth, rather than having my children in having my child in the office, and then I'll be able to, manage my workload. And then, when children are school going, I strongly suggest for both parents, or at least mothers, wake up early. I know it's like super difficult to wake up early in the morning, make breakfast, and then have breakfast with your children. Hug them, kiss them, tell them that you love them so very much, they should have an amazing day at school, and then go for work. It is terribly difficult, especially if you're living in a place where you are far from work, so you need like 40 minutes or an hour to get to your work. But then again, for people who are raising family, who are with kids, I think workplaces should accommodate such couples, such parents. Well, then again, if you're a doctor or a firefighter, then again, it also takes a toll on you. If there is a building on fire and people are calling you at work that you just get here in like 10 minutes, you do that. But then you ask your spouse, don't marry a doctor who also has to go run, save some patient. Marry somebody who is like, has a lighter load of work. And Shad Khans would just, consider such things, that, when we are kind of, matchmaking, we need to understand that, when you get married and then you have life and then you have children, it gets complicated. So the decisions that you make, the spouse that you choose is a long-term, sort of a thing. So think through those things, that how are we going to manage these nitty-gritties in our life, and how can we be the best parents and best partners for each other? In the end, having done all the things right and with a positive mind frame, there could be a possibility that, a couple needs to get separated and go their each way. Start their own individual life and get a divorce, or get a divorce, or get separated. I feel that both the partners, one, break up with decency. Do not take your relationship to that extent that your children have to hear abusive language for you saying to each other, even if your husband had sex with the secretary or your best friend or your your cousin or your sister. Take a deep breath. Whatever your husband or your wife cheated, that has happened. Now, whatever actions you would take would make the things only worse if you take them in the context of all the negative feelings that you have. Do not let the other person bring the worst out of you in any situation. Make sure the other person brings the best out of you, even if they're throwing garbage or betrayal or cheating, whatever your way. So calm down, have a glass of water, break up with decency. Talk about things that, okay, you've done this, now our relationship, whatever that is, that's over. I personally do not believe in forgetting and moving on. Yes, forgiving is very, very important, that you forgive the other person, thinking that this person is someone that I loved and someone I have kids with, someone that I started this dream life and everything. But now it's, for some reason, it's over, and now I have to break up and start my other way of, change your perspective, change your life. But please do not humiliate the person that you love, the person who is a mother or a father to your children. You still be able to, have this decency to invite them on the weddings and birthdays. You will be getting to see this person, because obviously that person is related to your children and then to you as well. So your children are going to get married. They want their father or their mother there on their birthdays, on their, whatever milestone that they have in their life. They want both their parents. So if relationship has spoiled between you two, your children will always see you respecting each other despite of your differences or difference of choices, or tell them how to, this has happened. So mom and dad now cannot live together and will be living separately, but we both love you and we will be together, we will be seeing each other. And please, whatever issues couples have, they should discuss it with each other in private. Do not allow your children to seep in or accumulate that negativity, that abusiveness, that anger that you hold for your spouse. Have it, mend it, talk about it, and even if you don't want to talk about, just with huge amount of respect and dignity, call it off. Say, okay, fine, I'm gonna have a divorce. I personally don't believe in divorce or get or anything. Khas v'shalom, khas v'shalom, khas v'shalom. If I ever get married and if I get to that sort of a situation, I would probably not get, but I would definitely be separated from my husband. And yeah, so definitely forgive him, but I can't forget and surpass this whole. Personally, I am a loyal person, so I expect loyalty. And if I don't get it, I can't stay with that person. So I think when your children would see that our parents don't live together and they live apart from each other, but they have a huge amount of respect for each other and they love us as much as they used to, I think they would have a huge amount of respect for the decision that the parents have made mutually with such maturity and that. So with that, I would like to say that and also I wanted to say Baruch Hashem, and I wanted to thank Hashem for my mother, because of this person, Mr. Tate, and all this that I talked about and that I thought about, I realized that my mother, who in my opinion, when I used to think that I think she deserved a better guy and she should have left my father. One, because I was born in the 9th year of her marriage, so she had fertility issues, and then when we were born, there were other issues. I mean, here I am discussing Mr. Tate and his parents getting a divorce and all that, and psychological and emotional baggage out of that. Let me tell you, and I'm really sorry, Amma, Baba, I'm really, really sorry. They were amazing. You both were amazing people. You were an amazing couple. I'm just sharing this with my views, that I cannot say that my parents were a perfect example of a perfect marriage. There is no perfect marriage. There is no perfect couple. If we see our greatest matriarchs and patriarchs, all of them have marital issues and their marriages were least close to perfect marriages, but they find spirituality and goodness in each other and the relationship that they had, and they sort of understood each other in a way that they understood where my spouse is coming from, whether it's Isaac understanding Rebecca, trying to get Rebecca making this decision that Israel, Yaakov should get the blessing instead of Esau, or whether it is Sarah saying that okay, Abraham should take Hagar as a second wife, and then send Hagar and Ishmael out. So that they understand each other's perspective with respect, with sensitivity, with emotional attachment, that okay, I do not like what you're saying, or I do not like the decision that you're making, but okay, I have this leap of trust and I can trust you because I am emotionally attached to you, or whatever. So there is no perfect marriage of anyone. Even the marriage of Hashem and Israel is not that perfect. right after 40 days that Israel committed that we will do as you say, and they made an idol. For this whole thing was to symbolize that you know you ignore your spouse only for 40 days and talk to Moshe Rabbeinu only and focus on Moshe Rabbeinu only. The Israelite would just make another idol, and what are you going to do? They just replaced you. And this tells us that as a husband, as a husband, at least for the Jewish husbands, that they should have constant, constant, what do you say, constant attachment and concentration towards their wives, because if there is this 40 days gap and the marriage is like, okay, there is a new idol, so surprise honey. So don't do that. So these little things from Torah and the Jewish tradition teach a lot of deep concepts in regards to how to raise families and how to bring about great people. And it reminds me of even Hitler had a broken home. Oh God, it's so stereotypical, but no, let's not stereotype anyone. There have been amazing, and also this person also said, the person that I had argument with in regards to that people who come from broken homes don't actually make very good marriages or relationship. That person also said either they would make extraordinary, exceptionally amazing relationship or suck it completely. But I don't think it's the thing. We shouldn't. I think one thing that I can tell each individual in a relationship, that please, the other person also has come from. They also have accumulated a lot of experience and a lot of baggage, emotional and other sort of baggage from their parents or their life that they have lived. It's not fair to that person that we take our baggage and dump it on them. If we didn't had any good childhood memories of our parents or loving memories of our parents, we cannot judge our partner or we cannot treat our partner with that sort of mind frame that if my mother can leave, this woman can leave me. If my father left my mother, this guy would also leave me. Don't do that. It's unfair. The person. Now, I will give you my own example. People who have disappointed me or hurt me, because of those experiences, I cannot judge my husband. The guy who had shown the balls and courage and commitment to take this leap of faith to accept me as a girlfriend or accept me as a wife is a huge honor for me. And why should I judge him on the parameters of my past experiences? That's just unfair. Yes, people make mistakes, and of course, my husband can make mistakes. Please don't make mistakes that I can't. But he's a human also. He would make mistakes, and I would be angry at him. But that, I hope he doesn't make any mistakes that I would ask him to let's just get separated, because I would not get a get, because I just don't believe in that, or divorce. But I would definitely separate if he would cheat on me or something like that. But having said that, I have not come from a very ideal marriage. My parents had their set of problems, but yet I would give it to my mother. She had done a lot to put up with my dad, despite the fact that as a daughter even I have said to my mother that, Mom, you could have done better. Why did you stay with Baba for that long? He didn't deserve you. But I think my mother had the amazing courage to not only affect my father in a positive way, and I would say it was my mother who brought the best out of my father. and it was my mother who healed me from the negative relationship and the negative opinion that I had for my father and I had for men and marriage and all that. I think she gave me a whole different perspective, and thanks to Mr. Tate that I went into his past life and realized and thought about it, and I realized that this negative person also has contributed so much positivity in my life that when I would Bazarat Hashem get married and have children, I think I would try my utmost to become a better spouse, a better partner, a better friend to my husband, and a very sensitive and emotionally and psychologically and physically connected mother to my children, especially my sons, because I can see, thanks to Mr. Tate, what it does when a mother is not there for her son when he is going through some terrible things, and the anxiety of losing a father, or being apart for it affects children so much. And I hope as women of 21st century we become good mothers. I think that's something which should be a priority for every single woman on this planet, to be an amazing and inspiring and loving and connected mother. And also, before that, a very amazing and a source of simcha kind of partner and spouse for our partner and husband. And so I hope you have a good day, and I hope we all find our shatikhins, our soulmates, and raise very positive and amazing children, and are able to give them the environment that they deserve, the emotional attachment and the love that they deserve. And I hope we make the coming generation way much more sensitive, sensible, mature, and amazing. So thank you very much for listening.